Hello heroes, Kelthar of the Heroes and Legends, and in this video I'm going to go over for you lovely people, 5, for me anyways, 5 must-have add-ons for World of Warcraft. It doesn't necessarily have to be Legion if you don't plan on joining the next expansion. It's just World of Warcraft in general. A lot of these are already updated for Legion if you plan on continuing forward. These are the 5. If I was only allowed to choose 5 add-ons, these are the 5 that I would pick if you were limited in that way. But you're not, so that's great. Now, some of you are asking, what are add-ons? Add-ons are ways to customize your UI to your liking, whether it be an entire user interface. As you can see here, mine has done that, or little handy things such as a damage meter to show your, let's pick something, your current statistics, damage-wise, healing-wise, whatever, things like that. You know, chat add-ons. The sky is the limit, literally. These are the 5 that I gotta have at all times. If I don't have them, something's not right for me. So these are in no particular order. Some of them have a little bit more importance than others, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna rank them. I'm just gonna kind of throw up the 5, and then at the very end, for those of you who do not know how to install an add-on, I'm going to quickly go over how to too many quickies. I'm going to go over how to install an add-on. So that's going to be nice and easy for those of you who are wondering just how you do it. All right, let's get going. And this first add-on I'm going to discuss is actually a GPS of sorts, because we're always looking for things, right? We're always being told to go to places, or let's say you find something or you have to get somewhere for a quest. Now the game by default kind of does a better job than it did in previous times of telling you where to go, but sometimes it's just not enough. It'll have little areas for quests. It's like, oh, this is where you go for your quests and such. Like, it'll have like a blue circle, and you in that general blue circle. But let's say you have to find that one NPC, and you're like, where's that NPC at? I have no idea. How am I going to find him? I have to just wander in this blue circle till I find him? You don't want to do that. Let's say you just want to go directly to the point. Or let's say a quest tells you to go to a certain area or find a certain guy. Well, this add-on kind of gives you a GPS, an in-game GPS. So you have coordinates all the time. And back in the day, back in the Thoughtbot days, used to be, oh, go to coordinates 2421 by 30.88. And then you would just go there. You would get a coordinates add-on, which comes with, I think this came with ElvUI. This would be a coordinates when I don't have my map open. If I close my map, then this will light up and be like, oh, you're in this general direction. But, you know, it's like, okay, let's go find that one guy in the what is this? The wetlands. Well, with this add-on, it's called TomTom. This is available on Curse. It puts a nice arrow wherever you decide to set it, but by default it's in the center. So let's pretend there's an NPC off in the corner here, and we'll create one here. So TomTom Waypoint. This waypoint here is, let's say there's an NPC there, and it's like, I need to get that. So you can set waypoints, or the game will send them to you, and it'll trigger TomTom to find that for you. So let's say this is where I need to get to. So you set it by holding down Control on the map, and then right-clicking, and it'll create a waypoint. And then you right-click that waypoint, and right here it says Set as Waypoint Arrow. So now, on my screen here, you have an arrow, and you can choose where you want your arrow. Where is it easily noticeable for you? You can right-click the arrow and clear it, or it's called Crazy Arrow. It's part of the TomTom add-on. But basically, if I were to get on a flying mount, well, any mount really, but if you wanted to fly there, as long as I'm headed in that general direction, it will get me to where I need to go. And as I get closer, we're going to not use this one because it's so far away. We're going to create a new one here in Stormwind. Let's just pick let's pick this spot. Just open the right spot and then right click the add-on, set as Waypoint Arrow. So now 246 yards away is the waypoint I've designated. It'll tell you in text here how long, because I'm stationary, it's like, oh, I don't know, but how long before you reach your destination at the current speed? 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and boom. I went slightly over it, but basically, now directly beneath me is the Waypoint Arrow. It just happens to be this island because that's where I set my waypoint at. Pretty nifty. If you were to die, which I'm actually going to do right now, just for the sake of learning, this is pretty cool. We're not going to glide to safety, we're just going to die. So let's go ahead and die. Plummet to your death. So it tells me my corpse is right here, obviously, so I release spirit. And I love this feature. When you die, TomTom is like, oh, your corpse is this way. Pretty nice to have. Helps you get to your corpse. If your corpse is above you or beneath you, that also is present for you. Or if you're on a website like Wowhead, where people are nice and courteous to leave a Waypoint Directions, you can actually use Waypoint Directions in chat. So I think some of them work where you would type /way, you can't see it because of my beautiful face, of course, but /way, and then you put the coordinates, let's say 30 point something by 50.47. It will create a TomTom arrow, crazy arrow, headed to that waypoint you've typed out. If there is certain series of items you need, for example, once again, using like Wowhead, it says, oh, there are 5 places you need to get to. You can actually create a sequence of arrows. So, for example, let's select an arrow there, an arrow there, an arrow there, and our waypoint there in those 4 places. And then let's set that as a waypoint arrow. I think, oh, where did it go? Oh, gotta be careful with that. Set this one. Where's it? It's green by default, sometimes hard to see if you're not paying attention. So I've got different waypoints. Let's get on a mount here. While I'm flying to one of these waypoints, I'll tell you about a really cool feature. If another friend or guildie or whatever has TomTom installed in their UIs, in their game, you can actually send them waypoints. Let's go to my waypoint. See, so now I got to that first waypoint. You see how the yards just, now that I've reached that first waypoint, it disappears from a map, and it's like, okay, the next nearest waypoint you selected is over here. And using this, you can actually set sort of a path. If you, I'll give you a good example. When I was doing pet battles really hardcore, and I was trying to find the unborn Valkyr, which is like, for a time was one of the must-have pets, people were like, where is its spawn locations? Or, for example, you can use this for mounts too. Where are the known spawn locations for the different things? Well, someone will create a TomTom waypoint settings. They'll put it in Wowhead. You'll take that, you'll copy it, you'll paste it into either a macro or into just some text here, and then TomTom will create it'll create, a path. It's like, oh, these are the different spawn places, and you'll be able to fly in between them, and TomTom you'll go to this one, and then it'll be, all right, now you go to this one. All right, now you go to this one. Okay, now you go to this one. It'll help you. If you need to get rid of all the waypoints, you can. It's like, I have too many waypoints going on. I'm just getting tired of the arrow in my face. Get rid of your waypoints. If you want, like I said, you can send waypoints. You send waypoint 2. And stop having difficulties because clicking a little dot is hard. So send waypoint to party, raid, battleground, or guild. Those only work if someone has the add-on. If they don't have the add-on, the waypoints don't work the way you think they work. You can remove them specifically from zone, all waypoints, or specific waypoints. Nice and easy for direction. So there's a few more add-ons I'm going to discuss. We'll go over them here in just a bit. Are you tired of your crappy inventory? I know you are, because I was. And when I started using add-ons, one of the first things I looked for was how to make my bags look cleaner, organize them better, just make the game less about fishing for that right item and more about actually getting out there, killing stuff, and adventuring and questing and so on and so forth. So I had to find a bag add-on. I have used many bag add-ons over the years. I am currently using one that I've probably been using since around Wrath, mid to late Wrath. I fell upon this add-on and I haven't changed since. And this one is called AdiBags. This one you can easily find on Curse, and it does what most bag add-ons do by giving you your gigantic backpack, which combines every bag you have into one gigantic one. And then it goes one step further and it organizes things for you. So as you get items, as you pick up loot, as you pick up junk, quest items, whatever, it sorts them into neat little categories for you. And it doesn't just stop there. It actually lets you add categories later if you really want to further maximize your inventory cleaning game. If you want to step up your inventory cleaning game, AdiBags is the one for you. I'm going to do a quick little run through of how I've used AdiBags and how I use it on Kelthar. If I show you Kelthar's inventory, though, it's a little messy right now because I'm still selling the millions of transmog gear he has, so I'm going to start on afresh on my Demon Hunter who has less things going for him. So when you have your AdiBags open and you want to sit here and modify it slightly, you right click, there we go. So we have AdiBags version 1.9.0. You can also interface add-ons and then get there manually, or you can just open your bag and right click up in the top bar area. So then we have all the different things. You're automatically open the bags at merchants. So when you go to a vendor or the bank, your bags automatically pop open. You can have it set to, if you have a Regents, because you have the Regent Bank now, you can actually have your Regents auto deposit in there. You don't have to sit there and click an extra button. It's quality of life things. You can actually tell it to enable your backpack or your bank windows. So when you open those, it does that for you. You can have it set to where it's anchored in one space, or you can have it manual. I like manual because I'm constantly moving where my bags are if I'm looking at something, or if I'm in an area where it's like, okay, I need to see what's over there, so I'll move my bag over to the side. My bag is always moving. Then you have your filtering. So over here is your manual filtering. In addition to the preset categories, which section categories are right here, you have ammunition, consumable, equipment, junk, miscellaneous, new, quest, and trade goods. The add-on will attempt to automatically sort any item you get into these by default, but you can further that by creating your own custom categories. And I've created a couple already. So I have my flask section, and I have a food with buffs section. And the food with buffs is probably a good one for me because I have a lot of food on my characters because I'm always out and doing different things. And the food with buffs is great, especially if you raid. And I used to raid pretty regularly. I haven't raided hardcore in a very long time. I would say more casual raiding in the recent past. But it's still, whether you're a hardcore raider or a casual raider or just someone who loves to do dungeons, you want to have that right food buff for that right situation. Because there's two kinds of foods. There's the food that just heals you, gets you your mana back, and then there's food that actually has the effect afterwards of giving you some more stats or a little effect like changing your size or your color or whatever. It does all of those things. But food with buffs, I gave it its own category. So already right now, there's an item in it. You can mouse over it. It tells you it's Black Rock Barbecue. If I take off this one because it's the only item in the category, it'll actually take the category away. So for the sake of showing you how to create one, I'm going to remove a category. Let's remove flasks. Are you sure you want to remove this section? Yeah. So now I have just the one food with buffs category. The flask went back into its thing. So I'm going to go to manual filtering. We're going to left click in the item box, and then we're going to shift click the item we want to organize. We will click OK, and then we're not going to go to section yet. We're going to go to section category. Pick a section category. Flasks are already consumable, so just give it that consumable section category. Then drop back over to section, name it whatever the heck you want. So my flasks will obviously be called flasks. Any flasks I may be holding, and there's more than just the one that fits your class and spec. There's different kinds of flasks. Let's say if you're a tank, You want your flasks all going in there. Since Demon Hunters have the 2 specs, and I'll be rocking both the tank and the Havoc spec, I'm going to have a stack of each of the flasks used for each of those specs, but it's all going to go into the flask section. So once you've named it, you click OK. Once all 3 of these are there, there's no OKs next to these 2. And remember, you have to pick section category before flask. Other things get a little wonky. So then this will light up, add association. Now, the flasks, hold on here, let's get this off my way. So the flasks now has its own section. It says flasks above it, and the Draenic Agility Flask went into the flask section. Let's say I had another flask. I wanted to add it to that section. I'm going to, for the sake of explaining to you guys how it works, we're going to pretend this Thunder Special is a flask. I mean, technically alcohol is, you could drink it in a flask. For you kids out there, you wait till you're 21. Don't try messing with that right now. But for the sake of argument, here we go. We'll take this Thunder Special, and you see this empty slot here. We'll drop it in, and now Thunder Special is categorized per my add-on as a flask. So whenever I pick up any Thunder Specials, they'll go into flasks along with Draenic Agility Flasks. But we know it's not, so let's drag that off. You don't have to put it back in your bag. Just drag off, right click, and it'll disappear. I mean, it won't disappear. It'll go back into just the regular consumable category. You have food with buffs. Learned how to create a section. Junk is a good thing to know about for this add-on. One thing I can't stand is a lot of times you'll get the trash items, like the broken tooths and the cheesy whale milk and the all kinds of weird items that are just great quality that you need to vendor. The game has gotten better over time, allowing you to possibly, like it puts little gold coins, like you can sell these items. Well, these add-ons did it first. This add-on, I think, did it first. Actually, it gave you a junk section. So, anything that goes in this section is safe to get rid of. These tattered pamphlets are actually for an achievement, but it is gray. Once you've collected them for the achievement, you don't need them anymore. So, this went here. I can sell it once I've done used my purpose fitted, but it basically has things to include and things to exclude. It doesn't want you to include, heartstones and such because it knows those are important. Item category, you can actually tell it what items go in subcategories of the main categories. You can tell it how to track new items. You can tell it how to scale them. You can tell it to ignore your low quality items so it doesn't do anything with those. Then equipment. The equipment section, you can tell it to split armor by type. So if you get plate and leather and mail, and if you're sitting out there and you're grinding and you're looting stuff all the time and you want to know right off the bat, just opening your bags, okay, I can wear this because I wear leather and leather goes here. That way you don't accidentally try to equip something like, let's say you're a plate wearer and you accidentally put some mail gear on because you're like, oh, that's an upgrade in stats, but you didn't, you're just going quick and you didn't even look. Oh, that's mail. That's no good. So this one will split armor by types. Then your special, just for this expansion, your Legion section, you're going to have artifact power items, artifact relics, toys, and champions equipment, which is like garrison follower or champion follower for your order halls. Items that help them. It'll sort those specifically. And then you have your gear manager, like if you have sets, if you have a gear manager add-on, those are few and far between now. There's not really many of those left. So anyways, that was the inventory add-on that I use, and we're going to move on to the next add-on. And here we have the super amazing, massive, all-in-one UI modification add-on. The UI is your user interface, and normally you've got your health bar and stuff up here, your map's still over there, different things in different places. Action bars with the little dragon border, chat windows, so on and so forth. The game looks like the game looks in standard, but as you can see from my screen, it doesn't look anything like that. I used to be that guy that would actually take a bunch of different add-ons to serve the purpose of this add-on that I'm talking about now, and I would sit there and meticulously craft my user interface. And while that was cool, I liked the effect I achieved. It did take way too much work, and I didn't really want to spend the time anymore to getting into actually playing. So I found an all-in-one add-on that I have stuck with for the past 2 expansions. So during Warlords and, well, actually for part of Pandaria as well. But part of Pandaria, Warlords, and now going into Legion, I will be still using the ElvUI add-on. ElvUI is, like I said, an all-in-one interface, user interface, customizable add-on. It does the work of 100 add-ons all by itself. Now, if you don't like some of the add-ons I talk about here, some of the other add-ons, ElvUI might even actually serve the purpose of handling all of it for you. I like to use ElvUI for its cleanliness and other add-ons for some of the features where I think ElvUI is lacking. So the basics are, well, let's open up the customization options for ElvUI. It's a lot. Actually, ElvUI itself isn't even available on Curse. It's got its own website. You could just Google ElvUI and you'll get to the website. There's 2 versions of it. ElvUI is for those that want the UI to be more set up for you. And then there is the advanced features version called TUKUI. It's TUKUI. And that is for the people that want basically ElvUI, but more of a, I can add modules and take away modules as I see fit. I actually started with TUKUI in Pandaria, and I slowly just migrated over to Elv because Elv, like I said, I just wanted to pop it out of the box, and it works. TUKUI, it popped it out of the box, but you still had to assemble it. So the way it works is you have your general rules. You got to loot windows, error texts, loot all kinds of stuff. PvP messages. You have an AFK mode, which is cool, and I'll show you that at the very end because that's probably just more of an aesthetic thing. If anything, you can change. It's got its own special chat display. When you first pull it out of the box, though, it's going to go through sort of a setup. It'll pop up here in the center of the screen, kind of like where this is at right now, and it'll ask you about, I think, 8 to 10 questions, asking you to basically help configure your UI for you. Once you've gone through all the questions, it'll do a reload UI, and it'll basically put your settings in play. Gives you a bar over here, 1 bar down here, and then you have to activate additional ones as you see fit. Your health bar will show up here, your target's health bar here, and your target here. So you've got buffs and debuffs. Everything gets a square look, by the way. It's for me much more aesthetically pleasing than circles. I don't know. I just like squares. They're nice and symmetrical. Then boom, boom, just straight lines. I am a big fan of straight lines. So you have it actually comes with a bag add-on if you don't want to go and get yourself AdiBags, which I discussed a little bit earlier in the video. It has a buff and debuff command thing. All your buffs are lined up here. It gives you full control over the size of the font on the add-ons, the way the text fades in and out. You can disable Blizzard add-ons, enable this ones, or you can just, you can turn off features as you see fit. It's got its own special, like I said, chat boxes. What you want in your chat boxes, the type of font, the interval. You can put chat's timestamps, which you usually have on. I guess I haven't turned them on for my Demon Hunter, so we're just gonna throw those on. So now you can see I have chat timestamps. I used to actually use a separate chat add-on, but it started to conflict with ElvUI, and that got frustrating for me. So I just said, you know what, I'm gonna stick with ElvUI. It does what I needed to do. You have your action bars, which is probably the main reason you would get an all-in-one UI, because it gives you your nice clean bars. So like I said, you get your 1 bar here. You can add another one here. You can actually add more, and they'll stack all the way up. And then you can actually move where these are placed. I like where they're at now. I don't want to mess with them. You can lock your action bars so that things can't be dragged off. You hit this little plus, and you can choose how many bars to activate. So say these are enabled. let's disable this one. Just see now that bar's gone. If I enable it, it's back. You don't lose the stuff that's on it. I think, let's see, how many bars are not enabled? I think bar 6. So there, I can add another one, but it's behind my health bars and such because I've got my health bars set up right there. You have a pet bar if you're a pet class. Right now I'm not a pet class, so I'm not going to have a pet bar. But if you get a pet, it'll put it in a nice, easy-to-use place. Stance bar for those classes with multiple stances, like your warriors or... Actually, I don't know who else has stances. I'm sure there's some. Oh, druids. You know, your different shape shifts. What else do we got? Like, went over the bags, the buffs, the chat. There's a lot of stuff. Nameplates. It's got its own little nameplates add-on. It looks really cool, actually, but I'm currently using a different nameplate add-on because I've been working with that one. I'm probably going to phase out the nameplate add-on I'm using. I'm using tidy plates, but I'm probably going to phase that out and just go with ElvUI because I'm getting some interaction errors, which I want to not have to deal with anymore. If you download skins, these are the different skins that can go. It actually turns all of your windows into nice, clean things to match your UI. So, you know, your guild panel, your character panel, any panel that you have, your map is even made nice and clean. Everything just matches. The only thing it doesn't give you is, like, if you're a raider / person who needs to know your damage, you're going to have a recount. I'm not going to have a recount in this list of 5 must-haves because everyone knows about recount. It's just for those that don't want to min-max or check out your numbers, whether it would be healing, damage, tanking, whatever. That one I haven't figured out how to tie into ElvUI. Don't know if that's even possible. Over here on the right is another window which you can set for alternate things. Like I can take one of the chat windows and move them over here. Right now everything's over here because I haven't set up this chat window yet. Your map, nice and square. All of the additional add-ons that you may have will be set up, and you can, and then they go around like they're thinking it's still a circle map. No big deal for me. Really cool. Love me my ElvUI. It does what I need it to do. And then, of course, my favorite feature. This will activate when you go AFK after being actually AFK, or if you just want to set it yourself. It's on by default. You can turn it off if you don't like it. But when you go AFK, it takes your character, puts him in a nice little spot right here, and he just kind of stands. First he waves at you. Then the camera will pan around. So if I was sitting down, he'd be sitting down. Pretty cool. It just kind of scrolls around you, puts the name of the UI there, and in the lower left corner, you can't see because of my beautiful face, it'll have the logo of faction, your character name, the realm name, the guild name, the guild rank, and for how long you've been AFK. All of that shows on the lower left corner. It's really cool for taking screenshots, I think, if you want screenshots of your character kind of unhindered by different things or terrain. Oh, forgot, your character will start dancing after a brief moment. So you get your nice class dance going off in the corner. I love it. I hope you will love it. And let's move on to another add-on. And this next add-on is probably the most simple of the 5 I'm going to mention today. But it is in its simplicity that its brilliance truly shines through. That sounded pretty cool. Anyways, it is called Postal. It revolves around your mailbox. Time and time again, I find myself shopping for things on the auction house, using them for crafting or just doing random things, and what I can't stand is having to sit there and open one item at a time. And to this day, how many expansions in? This will be the 6th expansion, 7th part to the game, and Blizzard has not done anything to the stock mailbox. Well, Postal fixes your problems all in one fell swoop, and it's gotten only better over time. So right now, I had my other characters just mail a bunch of random items to me. You know, well, Kelthar. I had Kelthar mail random items to Elthelion to prove how awesomely functional this add-on is. So, let's say you went and got a bunch of mail, and you're like, what do I do with all this stuff? Sit there and open it one by one? Oh, heck no. No, with this add-on, you can open all your items at once. Now, I'll get to that at the very end. I don't want to, you know, open up all my items and then I'm like, oh, I can't explain the add-on anymore. It's got a lot of features. If you want to only open certain ones, you have a little drop down here. You can only open stuff directly related to the auction house. So if I click this, you can like choose, oh, which type of auction house. Auction canceled, auction expired, someone outbid on you mail, auction successful, and auction won. You can choose which types of mail to open. Then of course non-AH related stuff from the postmaster, which you usually get postmaster stuff when your bags are full and you looted something and you couldn't actually loot it. Comes to you from the postmaster. Mail with attachments, so if somebody sends you something, it's got an attachment. And then other options, you can say keep at least one free space if you always want your bags to have one free space. So it will not use the open all function, won't work because I have set it to keep at least one free space open. If I change this to 0, it'll fill up all my bags as long as it's got things to give me. And then there's verbose mode, which I really don't understand what that is, but that's fine. And then you have, you can return items, which I think you can return in the stock game, but I literally haven't not have Postal. I have literally not had Postal since Burning Crusade. It's been around for quite a while. It's amazing, and I don't even remember what stock mail looks like anymore. So if I want to just open, let's say, this one and this one and this one, let's say I was looking for specific ones. It's like, okay, well, don't click the checkbox for the one you want, and it just throws those 3 into my bags. Pretty nice, pretty simple. And it's like, okay, well, I got tons of mail, tons of space, need to get it all. So finally, the coveted, amazing open all button, boom, sits there and it goes through. And if you, for example, have mail that won't fit in the mailbox because you are limited to how much mail can actually show, what it does is it opens everything. If you hit that button, opens everything for you, puts it in your bags, and then give it, refresh the mailbox. So you close it and you open it again, and the items will then fill in, and then you can continue your opening spree of opening all your fan mail or auction mail or anything like that. That is the simple but effective Postal. You can also grab that on Curse. This add-on is for the transmogrifier in all of us. It is, I would say, probably the reason that we have such a cool in-game wardrobe now. That and Diablo. Your standard UI, or your standard in-game wardrobe is here. And it's in your collections appearance panel, so appearances is where you'll find them if you're not at the transmog vendor. So the different slots and such that you own, that's great, but sometimes you want to know if you have an appearance or if you have an item already saved. Now if you were to regularly mouse over an item in your bags, on your character pane, doesn't matter where, it would show up and you'll see all of the little information, all the pertaining information. Something this add-on, it's called MogIt. It was around before the fancy UI edition Blizzard is adding for Legion, but it was there when transmogrifying came about. I forget when transmogrifying came about, but it's been slowly upgraded over time. One little key feature of MogIt is it'll tell you, can't move my mouse, so if you read down on these Fell Shroud gloves, just under durability is the item number, and then below that, with a little green check mark, it will tell you whether you have the item or not. If you don't have it, it won't say. It'll say you don't have this item or you have not collected this appearance. Nice little feature to have to give you like a quick glance, like I've got this appearance. I'm safe to either, if it's not something you're currently wearing, if it's something you just need to toss. Nice thing to have. Also, you get the cool little what the item, you get previews every time you mouse over an item that has a preview. So there's the cloak, there's some shoulders. You get nice little previews. Really cool if you want to know how it looks before actually going to that tab. For some reason, why is this question marked? That's funny. I'm not gonna deal with that right now. And then if you open your transmog tab, you've got all of that there. Really cool. MogIt is amazing. Let me actually open it up. Addons, MogIt. So if you want to go to the commands or the information about MogIt and configure it slightly a little bit, you'll go over to interface and then click add-ons and then click MogIt from the drop down, your general rules. You can hide the minimap button. I choose not to. I need it there just for quick access. You show your item ID if you're the type that wants to find these items on Wowhead or WowDB. The item ID will now show if you decide to have that there. It will always indicate collected appearance. This is something that you showed you, the check mark. Well, actually, always indicate owned in the tooltip. The appearance is something that you have to add. So if I go to, gotta open it. So now, let's see, does it not show? You have to go to a different one. Okay, maybe that doesn't show what I thought it did. That's fine. Whether you owned it or not is what's really important. It checks, by default, checks your alts if you own the items, which is cool. Nice feature to have so you don't flopping through all your alts trying to find, do I have this, do I have this? No, it searches for you. It just kind of looks. You can tell it to not have an animation when you mouse over things. You can tell it which website you want to find links on for items. So by default, it's on Battle.net. You can change it to, oh my god, Thoughtbot. I haven't heard of Thoughtbot in a long time. I'll probably do a video on Thoughtbot. That's old school for you old school people. Wowhead, Wowpedia, some of the more commonly used sites. You can use the preview frame to dress up if you want. Use a single preview frame. What else we have? Tooltips, dress models. You can change the size of tooltips and how big they are. You can make this only affect transmog items. Only show if you have a modifier pressed. So the little preview stuff will only show if I hold down something. Right now it's set to none. It'll just show. Custom models, you can decide that it only, see if I click this, and my custom model won't show your character's model. It will show whatever model you deem in here. If you just want to see how stuff looks on a human, male, whatever. Cool, right? Options profile, you can save it per character or per count, however you want. And then wish lists. I haven't used wish list yet. I don't have a reason for it, but those of you that want a wish list, there it is. And that is MogIt. Nice, easy to use, very handy for informational purposes. And I think it's going to go on until Blizzard adds a little bit more to their transmog UI. Okay, so those were the 5 add-ons that I think you gotta have, or I gotta have. Hopefully you find that informative, but the next step is to, how do I install an add-on? It's like you told me about these really cool add-ons. How do I put them in my game? How do I make them work? Well, first you have to find an add-on, and the one place that I'd say 99% of the player base will go for the add-ons, and the majority of the add-ons, 4 of the 5 add-ons that I told you about today can actually be found where we're going to go now, which is Curse. So you want to Google Curse WoW mods. That's one way you can do it. So you search it, and there, World of Warcraft add-ons Curse. We'll click on the link, and then we'll pop into the main page. Curse does other things, other add-ons for other games, but it's currently focused on this. It's got, I think it actually got its add-on start with WoW. I could be wrong. You can correct me if you know that I'm wrong. Just let me know. But this is where everyone would go. So you want to search for an add-on. One of the add-ons I said today was AdiBags. Very important add-on. Inventory management, and I can't seem to spell. I think it's 1D. AdiBags. Yep, it's only 1D, not 2. Don't judge me for misspelling an add-on. The add-on creators create their own reasons for it. So basically, there's AdiBags. It's got the different things you want your. When you're looking for an add-on, you want to make sure that it's a trustworthy add-on. One way you could know is actually by the number of downloads. That's one easy at a glance way to tell. bunch of people using it, and this one, AdiBags, 1,315,646 people have downloaded AdiBags. So you know it gets its uses. So you click your add-on. You then want to see, once you've gotten to the add-on page, what version it's currently supporting. We're currently in 7.03, which is the version going into Legion and so forth. It's the most up-to-date version. Make sure the add-on is supported by your current version of WoW, because if you get an outdated version, it's going to cause errors in UI, and you don't want that. So this gives you a little preview of what you're going to look at. You can click for the larger image. So you see here, this guy has his stuff. It's in Spanish because the add-on creator must be in a Spanish country. So you see he's got everything nicely organized. Oh, and I forgot to say with AdiBags, it colors the slots by the rarity of the item. Epic items get a nice purple border, green border, blue border, so on and so forth. Forgot to mention that. It's pretty important. If you want, it can show your bags, stuff like that. I'm not going to go over AdiBags again, but there was... Oh, look what I did. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, anyways. Get your add-on. You make sure that it supports the current version. Then you download now. Give it its little seconds here, and it's going to automatically download. And then it will show up in your download history. And then we'll drag this over my WinRAR. So then whether it opens automatically for you or it doesn't matter. I use WinRAR to extract. So then, for the sake of the explanation, go get WinRAR if you don't have it. If you don't, it's fine. Just get it. It'll make this explanation much easier. It's free, or there's an evaluation copy. So then I want to extract my add-on to the proper folder. All of WoW's add-ons go to one folder, and it's already in my drop-down here. So I'll click the drop-down, and it's wherever your World of Warcraft install is located. Once you find that, so for me it's program files times 86, World of Warcraft, then the interface folder and the add-on folder. So you can actually see, once I get it to show here, program files times 86, scroll down. You don't have to do this, but I'm just showing you its location relative to everything. So there's the World of Warcraft folder, there's the interface folder, there's the add-on folder, and you can see here every add-on that I've downloaded is in the folder along with the standard Blizzard things. So Blizzard this, Blizzard that. Though don't ever take those out of your folder, by the way. Kind of makes your game all wonky. But every add-on I've downloaded goes in there. Once you've extracted it to World of Warcraft /interface /addons and wherever else your game is located, you just hit OK, and it's going to say if you already have it, this file already exists. I already have it, but it's okay. I'm just going to hit yes to all. You want to hit yes to all if you already have it, because usually you're updating an add-on when this takes place. So yes to all. It'll update my add-on. It's not going to, all your settings are saved in the proper settings folder, so that's fine. So then you will close your folder off, and when you do this, you want to make sure your game is not on, because your add-ons won't actually turn on until you've turned off your game and so on. So we're going to turn this on here, and then we're going to boot up World of Warcraft. So we're just gonna pop your game on. Once you've got all the add-ons you wanted, you turn the game on, and then you'll be on your character select screen. In the lower left corner beneath my amazing face is an add-ons button. So you'll click the add-ons button. You can see all the add-ons that you have currently active. And if you check this, there are going to be some add-ons that eventually, over time, people stop updating them. I'm trying, the add-ons that I mentioned to you today, the 5, are all currently updated all the way through. So you're nothing to worry about there. If you pick an add-on that was popular once before, some of them will still work with as versions of WoW as patches come and go and expansions come and go, but eventually they will just stop functioning altogether. I have a few add-ons that I can mention that I used to just live and die for, but I can't use them anymore. But here's where you see I can see that the outfitter support and the configuration don't currently work, but you don't need them. They come by default, and you don't have to worry. Just click this, everything will be fine. It won't cause you any issues. You'll hit OK, make sure your add-ons are there and on. You don't have to do that every time you log in, just the first time that you install an add-on to make sure it's properly installed. Then you log into your game, and you get to see your add-on at work. My add-on's already installed, so you're not going to see any changes. You saw me playing with AdiBags earlier. Boom, AdiBags is there. Nice, fancy, super mega backpack mode. And drag it around because I haven't unlocked. But anyways, thank you guys for watching my 5 must-have add-ons for World of Warcraft, Legion, and beyond. Or before, if you're not going to Legion. But why wouldn't you? Because Legion's amazing. Anyways, this has been, hopefully, a very informative video. I did a lot of talking, a lot of showing. Now, go out there, customize your UI, make it look awesome, and in the comments below, how about you leave me a screenshot of some of the add-ons you use, or if you like some of the add-ons I'm using, tell me about it down below. Or if you're having problems with any of the add-ons I mentioned, ask me about it below. I'm pretty fluent in configuring and tweaking them, so maybe I can help you out below. Anyways, thanks again. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment of anything. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.